Welcome back to my episode reviews of the original Rescue Bots cartoon. Today, we're taking a look at the episode One for the Ages. In this episode, Cody is accidentally turned into an adult, and the team must get back an experimental device stolen by Evan and Miles in order to return him to normal. This episode begins with Chase and a sick Chief Burns waiting at the docks for a boat to come from the mainland. When who else should show up on this very same boat but brothers in crime, Evan and Miles?
Yeah.
Wait a minute, I thought Evan wasn't supposed to be able to talk, but he clearly said yeah there. So Evan uses his Soundwave gun, which, I'm disappointed that it doesn't look more like Soundwave's actual gun, but anyways, he uses it to knock Mr. Bunty into the water, who you may recognize as the lobster guy from the episode Flopsters on Parade. And while Chief Burns is rescuing Mr. Bunty, Evan and Miles steal the prototypes that he and Chase were supposed to be waiting for. Unfortunately, they get away, and Charlie must stay in bed for the remainder of this episode, leaving Cade in charge.
Rescue bots, roll to the rescue!
Huh? I wanted to say that.
Aw, how cute. Which makes me think, have we ever heard one of the humans say that line in this show yet? I don't remember if we have. If you know of a time before this where a human has said, "Rescue bots, roll to the rescue," let me know down in the comments. So the rescue bots roll out, and Cody is disappointed that he can't come along to help.
Just because I'm not big doesn't mean I can't help.
Actually, it does. A rescue like this takes size and strength.
I'd say it probably also requires a lot of training too. Not to mention being of a certain age. I mean, this isn't Rescue Bots Academy where they let a bunch of kids be rescue workers. At the Greens lab, the doc explains how Evan and Miles stole a piece of a stasis machine.
Stasis is the absence of activity. This device is designed to freeze an object in time and space.
Like the pause button on a DVR.
I think it's more like the stasis room from Breath of the Wild. But they only have half of the machine, which Cody accidentally activates, shooting himself with one of the rays, which causes him to age into an adult.
Oh no, he's hot!
It's funny how much Cody looks like his dad. Although it is weird that he has a mustache. You would think that he'd either have a full beard or be clean shaven. It doesn't really make sense that he'd just have a mustache. Back at the firehouse, Cody finds some clothes that will fit him now. By the way, whose clothes are these? With the flame decal on the side, I'm assuming this is Cade's old uniform? The rescue bots' reactions are very funny, especially Blades and Heat Waves.
Was that inside your nose the whole time?
Forget the mustache, guys. Look at me. Bigger, stronger. I've turned into an adult.
Yeah, transform into a truck, then we'll talk.
Actually, there was an old 80s cartoon called Turbo Teen, where a kid transformed into a car. So, who knows? And with as out there as this show can get, I would not be surprised if in one episode, Cody does actually turn into an actual Transformer. Cody then surprises his siblings with his new body. And it's pretty funny how Cade now has to stand on his tippy toes in order to reach Cody's height. So, now that he's bigger, Cody gets the roll to the rescue with the rest of the team.
I fail to understand why increased body mass inspires such joy.
You don't get it because you've never been small.
How do you know that, Cody? I'd like to think that the senior rescue bots were cute little recruits at some point.
Can I try parking?
Certainly. First, check your blind spot. Then...
Graham mentions how the rocket belongs to Mr. Cullen. Perhaps a nod to Peter Cullen, the voice of Optimus Prime? I'm surprised with how well Cody performs at completing this mission. He must have learned from watching his older siblings.
Heatwave, may I please use your ladder?
Oh, now he's not only taking charge, he's ordering around my bot.
More like asking politely. You should try it sometime.
Aww, good manners are so cute.
You may be a fireman, but I think you just got burned.
So Cade gets jealous of his big little brother and orders him on crowd control, which includes Haley.
I've never seen you in town before. Are you part of the Burns family too?
Wait, Haley talks? I guess this season must have had a bigger budget, and that's why they were able to afford a voice actor for Haley.
Haley, it's me, Cole, Cade's cousin. Filling in for my chief.
Okay, one thing, seriously, he's going with Cole Burns? You know, like coal, the stuff that you burn? And second, if Cade was jealous of Cody before, wait until he finds out that his girlfriend was flirting with him. So when the rescue bots accidentally drop the rocket and it explodes, they protect their partners and the bystanders from the explosion by blocking it with their bodies. And Cody does the same for Haley.
You saved my life.
Ew. Haley, are you...
I'm fine, thanks to Cole. You never told me about your cousin, Cade. Where have you been hiding him?
See? What did I tell you? So, after Haley tries to ask Cody out on a date, seriously, girl? Your man Cade is right there. Or are you two not boyfriend and girlfriend anymore? So, Cade tells Cody to go home. But he actually goes to the Greens lab instead, who are still working on reversing the effects of the aging ray.
This is test banana number 17.
I wonder if this was a purposeful homage to that scene in Honey, I Shrunk the Kids, where they blow up an apple. Also, I kind of love how we get this very TGIF moment where Chase teaches Cody that maybe the reason Frankie didn't like playing basketball with him is because he's too big. But then Evan and Miles show up, trying to steal the other half of the machine. But luckily Cody is nearby to stop them. And Trex scares them off. Yes, Trex, the Greens dancing guard dog robot dinosaur, is back in this episode. Cody and Chase pursue Evan and Miles.
Are you familiar with the human known as Miranda?
Now, this isn't something I knew until I checked the wiki, but apparently, Chase's voice actor, DC Douglas, also voiced Legion in the Mass Effect trilogy, who is a companion for your character Shepard. And there is also another companion character in Mass Effect called Miranda, who you may be familiar with even if you haven't played the game. Is this a deliberate nod to DC Douglas's other role? No, probably just a coincidence. Although I do really want to play the new Mass Effect Legendary Edition that just came out recently. Oh well, maybe if I ever start that gaming channel I've been meaning to do. So while going after the Tech Thief twins, they shoot Cade with the other half of the device, causing Cade to grow younger. Aww, look at little baby Cade.
How am I supposed to explain this to Haley?
I thought you said she likes kids.
Not that way, Heatwave. Although, didn't they actually hit Heatwave with the Youth Ray? You know, since his window wasn't down or anything? Aww, that would have been so cute if we got a little kid Heatwave instead. But I guess if Heatwave de-aged like, what, 20 years? That wouldn't be such a big deal for a Transformer since their lifespans are so long. Who knows, it might have actually affected Heatwave, but there's just no visible difference because Transformers don't age the same way that humans do. So they capture Evan and Miles and recover the other half of the stasis machine. And we end this episode with Doc Green working on the stasis machine, Chief Burns is feeling better, and I guess we can assume that Cody and Cade get turned back to their normal selves sometime between this episode and the next one. Well, this was a very fun episode of Rescue Bots. I loved seeing Cody as an adult and Cade as a child. It was so cute. I especially love how Cody looks so much like his dad. It kind of gave me an idea of how Cody might look if we ever got a sequel to Rescue Bots Academy. I just kind of wish that we could have gotten to see Frankie as an adult too, and Graham and Danny as little kids. Not to mention the Rescue Bots themselves. Aww, again, they'd be so cute as little recruits. This episode also reminded me of other age-changing media, like Link in The Legend of Zelda: Ocarina of Time, and how when he draws or returns the Master Sword from its pedestal, he ages or de-ages 7 years, transforming from his child body to his adult body. But what this episode really reminded me of was the Tom Hanks movie Big, especially this little exchange between Haley and Cody, which definitely sounds like something out of that movie.
Can I take you to lunch?
I don't need anybody to take me. I can drive.
You're funny.
Do you mean sleep over?
Well, yeah.
Okay. But I get to be on top.
Not to mention the fact that this is also an adult woman hitting on a kid in an adult body. It leads into some very questionable subject matter that I really do not want to get into in this video. Although, speaking of subject matter that may be inappropriate for this video, maybe it's because I've recently been binging the show, but this aging ray seems like the perfect solution for Monster Girl's problem in the R-rated Amazon Prime exclusive series. If you haven't watched that series, I highly suggest you do. You know, assuming that you're old enough to watch R-rated content. And don't worry, I'm not going to show anything graphic here, nor will I give away any spoilers. But for those who don't know, Monster Girl, who used to go by the name Monster Woman until it got too awkward, has the superpower to transform into a Hulk-like monster. But it's actually a curse because every time she transforms, she gets 1 week younger. Which sounds awesome, honestly. You basically have eternal youth. Although, I guess if you fight crime more than once a week, like Monster Girl clearly does, that's where you find the drawback. As she is actually 25 years old, but she looks like a 12-year-old. But I was thinking, it's too bad that she doesn't have an aging ray like the one in this episode. Then she could just age herself back up whenever she feels too young. Oh well, again, highly recommend the show, but only if you're old enough to watch it. Again, I don't want anybody's parents to get mad at me because I told their kid to go watch a show with a bunch of blood and violence and stuff in it. If you're not 18 or older, go watch Young Justice instead, which is also a really great show with a very similar look and feel. But yes, back to this episode review. I really enjoyed this episode. It was very fun, but again, I do wish that they played a little bit more with the whole aging and de-aging rays thing, just because I would have liked to see some of the characters in older or younger bodies. Oh, what about Chief Burns? I mean, he's already a silver fox. I wonder what he would have looked like as a younger man. Oh well, probably like Cody, I guess. So, what about you? What did you think of this episode of the original Rescue Bots series? As always, let me know your thoughts down in the comments. Remember to like, subscribe, and do all that other fun stuff. And I'll see you back here next week for the next episode of Rescue Bots, Tip of the Iceberg. So, see you back here next week for that.